Good afternoon, all. I'll be solving three questions. Uh, so, let's start with the first question. So, question number one says, let's just see the question. If the population of a town is P in the beginning of any year, then it becomes 3 plus 2P in the beginning of the next year. If the population in the beginning of 2019 is 1000, then the population in the beginning of 2034 will be. Okay. So these are the different options which are given to us, and we have to select one. Okay. So let's just go back to the Zoom meeting. So basically, we are given the population in the beginning of year one. So population in the beginning of year one is equal to P. Now, population in the beginning of year 2 is 3 plus 2p. Population in the beginning of year 2 is 3 plus 2p. Okay. So now, if I want to find the population in the beginning of, say, year 3, this will be, I will use the same formula 3 plus 2 into p, but in place of p, I will now use the second year's population. So I will use 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 2p. Okay. So which means this will become 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 2 square into p, like this. Okay. Similarly, if I want to write the population in the beginning of year 4, so what I will do now is I will use the same formula 3 plus 2 into p, but in place of p, now I will use the third year's population. So 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 2 square into p. So this will become 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 2 square into 3 plus 2 cube into p. Okay. So like that we can write a general formula that if I want to find the population in the beginning of beginning of year n. So this will be this we are getting a GP if we take 3 common. So this will become 3 into 1 plus 2 square. So this will go up to 2 raised to n minus 2, and then plus 2 raised to n minus 1 into p. Okay, because see this for this year, this was year number 4. So the power of 2 is 3. So for year number n, in the beginning of year n, this the power of 2 here will be n minus 1. And here, if we take 3 common, we get 1 plus 2 square. So for year 4, so for year n, this will be 1 plus 2 plus up till 2 raised to n minus 2. Okay. So now, if I will just erase a little part in order to create some space. So, yes. So now let's continue. So we'll just simplify this expression. Population in the beginning of year n. So this will become, now this for this we can apply the sum of GP. So 3 into 1 plus 2 square up till 2 raised to n minus 2. So this we can write as 2 raised to n minus 1 upon 2 minus 1, using the formula for sum of GP, and then 2 raised to n minus 1 into p. Okay, so this becomes 2 minus 1 will become 1. So this becomes 3 times, then in brackets 2 raised to n minus 1 plus 2 raised to n minus 1 into p. So this is the formula for, this is the expression that we get for population in the beginning of year n. Now we are given the value of p as 1000. Okay, that is given in the question, and then n is equal to 16, because if we see the question, uh, yeah, this is the question. So if you see the question, if the population in the beginning of year 2019 is 1000, and we are asked the population in the beginning of 2034. Okay, so this means that starting from 2019, so 2019 and 2020, 2 years. Then from 2021 to 2030 will be 10 years. So 2 and 10, 12 years, and then 4 years after that. So basically, if we start with 2019 as the first year, 2034, if we start as 2019 as the first year, okay, 2034 will become the 16th year. Okay, so that is why n basically, we'll put the value of n as 16 in this expression. Okay, so population, then in the beginning of population in the beginning of year 2034 will be, we put n is equal to 16. So this will become 2 raised to 15 minus 1 into 3, and then plus 2 raised to 15, and then p is 1000. So 1000. If we take 2050, 2 raised to 15 common, so 1000 plus 3. So this will become 1003. So 2 raised to 15 into 1003, and then minus 3. So this is the final answer that we are getting. So 2 raised to 15 into 1003 minus 3 will be the population that we get at the beginning of year 2034. And so if we look at this question, we get option C as the correct answer. So you can see here 1003 into 2 raised to 15 minus 3. Okay. So this is the, so option C is the correct answer in this question. So I hope this answered this, I hope this solution answered your query. Okay. So I'll just clear this solution and let's move on to the next question now. Okay. So what is the next question? Let me just open the question for you. I'll just close this part. Okay. And yes, this is the question. Yes. So basically, in this question, this is a question on sequences and series. We are given a arithmetic progression series A1, comma A2, comma A3 are in AP. Then we have to find the sum of this expression. So 1 upon root of A1 plus root A2 plus 1 upon root A2 plus root A3, and then last term is 1 upon root AN plus root AN plus 1. Okay. So this expression is equal to which of the following options? So 4 options are given to us, and we have to find that this sum is equal to which of the following out of these 4. Okay. So now let us write down A1, A2, A3 up till AN is an AP. AP we all know is arithmetic progression, means it's a series in which the terms differ by a constant value. Okay. So now we have to find 1 upon root A1 plus root A2 plus 1 upon root A2 plus root A3, and then 1 upon root AN plus root AN plus 1. 1 upon root A1 plus root A2, and then 1 upon root A2 plus root A3, and then last term will be 1 upon root of AN plus root of AN plus 1. So this is the sum, and we have to find its value. Okay. So basically we are given irrational terms in the denominator. This is root A3. So what we will do is we will try to rationalize the terms. So in the first term, we multiply with root A2 minus root A1 in the numerator and denominator. So in the denominator, we will get the expression A2 minus A1. In the second term, we multiply with root A3 minus root A2 and rationalize. So therefore, in the denominator, we get A3 minus A2. And similarly, if we rationalize in the last term, which is the denominator, so we will get AN plus 1 minus AN. And in the numerator, we will get root of AN plus 1 minus root of AN. Now, we know that this series is an arithmetic progression. Suppose we assume that the common difference in this AP is D. Okay. We assume that the common difference is D. Let's suppose the common difference is D. Now A2 minus A1 will also be equal to D. A3 minus A2 will also equal to D. An plus 1 minus An is also equal to D. So for each term, we get the denominator as D. So if we take the LCM, we can write it as a single fraction, root A2 minus root A1 plus root A3 minus root A2. And similarly, the last term will be root An plus 1 and then minus root An. Okay. So here root A2 minus root A2 will be cancelled, then root A3 will be cancelled, and similarly here root An will be cancelled. So we will be left with uh, the two terms in the numerator, which is root of An plus 1 and then minus root of A1. Okay, and divided by D. Now if we rationalize this term in the numerator, because the numerator is containing two irrational terms, so if we rationalize this, we get An plus 1 minus A1 divided by D, and then in the denominator we will get root of An plus 1 plus root of A1. Okay. Now An plus 1 means this is the n plus 1th term of AP. So this we can write as A1 plus ND. So if we write this as A1 plus ND, A1 minus A1 will get cancelled. So we will be left with ND upon D. And then in the denominator, root of An plus 1 plus root of A1. D will be cancelled out. And we are left with the final expression n upon root of An plus 1 plus root A1. And now if we see in the options, we can see that this matches with the first option, which is option A. So we get the sum equal to n upon root of A1 plus root of An plus 1. Okay. So for this question, option A is the correct answer, n upon root of A1 plus root of An plus 1. Okay. So hope this solution answered your question. Okay. Now let's move to the next question, which is question number 3. So I'll just erase this solution, and then we'll come to the next question, which is question number 3. Okay. So let me just close this question, and then yes, sorry, this question. Okay. So this is the question given to us. Let us just read it first. Given an equilateral triangle T1 with side 24 centimeter, a second triangle T2 is formed by joining the midpoints of the sides of T1. Then a third triangle T3 is formed by joining the midpoints of the sides of T2. If this process of forming triangles is continued, the sum of the areas in square centimeter of infinitely such triangles T1, T2, T3 will be. Okay, so let me just explain you the question once. Okay, so we have an equilateral triangle T1. This is an equilateral triangle T1 whose side is given to us. Let's suppose we mark this triangle ABC. The equilateral triangle side of this equilateral triangle is given to us as 24 centimeter. Okay. Now, so this triangle is T1. Triangle ABC is T1. Okay. Now we form another triangle which is formed by joining the midpoints of the sides of this triangle. So we have three sides. So therefore we will have three midpoints: point D, point E, and point F. Okay. So another triangle DEF is formed, and we call this triangle as T2. Okay. And similarly for DEF triangle, this is also an equilateral triangle. Again, we will have three midpoints. So this point, say D, this is G, then this is H, and then this is I. So then GHI will be the triangle which is formed by joining the midpoints of triangle DEF. So triangle GHI will then be called as T3. So like that, this process will go on infinitely. So basically what he's asking us to find is, you have to find the area of T1, then area of T2, and then area of T3, and like that. All those triangles that are being formed, all those equilateral triangles, we have to find the sum of their areas. Okay, that is what we have to do in this question. Right. So see, then the sum of the areas in square centimeter of infinitely many such triangles. All those triangles which are being formed, T1, T2, T3, that in infinitely many triangles, sum of the areas we have to find. Okay. So this is basically, if if we want to find the area of the first triangle, which is T1. Now T1 is an equilateral triangle whose side is 24 centimeter. Now we know the area of equilateral triangle is root 3 by 4 into side square. So for T1 side is 24. So root 3 by 4 into 24 square. So 24 is nothing, square is nothing, means 576. Square of 24 is nothing but 576. So 576 by 4. So this will become 4 ones are 4, then 4 fours are 16, then 4 fours are 16. So 144 root 3 square centimeter. So this is area of the first triangle now, which is T1. Now if we focus on the second triangle, which is T2, that triangle is formed by joining the midpoints of these two sides. So now EF is basically, we know that for any triangle, if we join the midpoints of two sides, then the length of that side is half of the parallel side. Okay, which means if suppose you have a triangle like this and you join the midpoints of these two sides, then we know from the basic proportionality theorem that we have studied in classes 9th and 10th, that whatever the length of this side is x, then this length will be x by 2. Suppose this length is DE, then this length will be, this line segment DE will be parallel to BC. This is first thing. And the second thing is the length of this line segment DE will be half of the length of line segment BC. Okay. So which means EF will be equal to now half of BC. And we know length of BC is 24. So half of 24. So which means EF will be 12 centimeter. So we can find the area of triangle T2 as root 3 by 4 into side square. Now side is 12, so 12 square. So this becomes 144 root 3 by 4. So 4 3 is a 12, 2 and 4, so 4 6 is a 24. So this becomes 36 root 3 square centimeter. Okay. So similarly, we can find the areas of T3, T4 and so on. So now we are interested in finding the sum of all these areas, sum of areas of all these triangles. So the area of the first triangle is 144 root 3. Now we get the area of the second triangle T2 as 36 root 3. Now if we try to find the area of the third triangle, we will get that as 9 root 3. So basically we can see that this forms an infinite GP, because every successive term is 1/4 of the previous term. So 36 root 3 is 1/4 of 144 root 3. Then 9 root 3 is 1/4 of 36 root 3. So basically this sum is a sum of infinite GP. Now we know that the sum of infinite GP is A upon 1 minus R, where A is the first term. So A is 144 root 3 and R is the common ratio. So R we will get by dividing the second term by first term. Now second term is 36 root 3 and first term is 144 root 3. So we get R as 1 by 4. So 144 root 3 divided by 1 minus 1 by 4. So now if we simplify this expression, 1 minus 1 by 4 will become 3 by 4. So this becomes 144 into 4 by 3. 144 into 4 root 3 by 3. Okay. So now if we solve this expression, we get 3 4s are 12. And then 2 and 4, 3 8s are 24. So 48. 48 multiplied by 4. So 48, double of 48 is 96 and double of 96 is 192. So we get the answer as 192 root 3 square centimeter. So sum of all those areas of all those triangles, T1, T2, T3 and like those infinite such triangles will come out to be 192 root 3 square centimeter, because this series will become an infinite GP, starting with the area of the first term means area of T1 as 144 root 3. Okay, so this is the area of T1, and then every successive term the area gets reduced by 1 by 4. So this area is 1/4 of this, then this area is 1/4 of this. That is why I applied the sum of infinite GP, so A upon 1 minus R, and I got the sum of areas as 192 root 3 square centimeter. So now if we see the question, we can see that our answer matches with option A, which is 192 root 3 square centimeter. So in this case, the correct answer will be 192 root 3 square centimeter. Okay. So I hope this solution satisfies your question. Okay. Satisfies your query. And so these were the three questions that I was supposed to solve for this session. Okay, so I hope you found the solutions interesting and satisfactory. Okay, thank you.